Hello friends, this is Scott, and here's a look at the mess that I still have in my main garden area. And this was the last project I tackled on my last trip down to the homestead. And I was pulled some of these weeds. I didn't get all of them, but I need to get this side on the left done because that whole bed there is going to be for my either winter and summer squashes, maybe some pumpkins, watermelons, cantaloupes, you name it. I'm not sure. I planted a bunch of seeds. I lost the tags or they kind of washed out. So I'm going to have some mystery plants in this area, but I decided I was going to have all the vining crops all in one section as I'm joined with my two old chickens that I'm letting out. That's the Americana there, and that's the last remaining Barnevelder. And I leave them out in the yard because they're getting bullied a little bit by the new chickens. Funny how that works. But, yep, lots of weeds and the cows. I was kind of saying that the last video was going to be the last view of the cows, and this is it. The two on the right did go to freezer camp, and I'm buying a quarter beef. I'm not sure of which cow, but probably the big one there. But it's kind of sad to eat your pets. Sometimes it's better to eat what you know than what you don't know. So anyway, I know how these were raised and how they were treated, and so I got to feel pretty good about that. Weeds are more of a curse than a blessing, but here's the blessing part, is that the chickens love them, and so I gave them quite a bit of this bindweed. This is all nasty weeds, so most of this weeding I'm doing is just a waste of time because I'm not getting the roots, but you got to do what you got to do. But there's a big snack for them. And we'll see how long it takes them to go through those. Well, in this new bed that I just weeded, we have some volunteer potatoes because that's where I had the red and the white potatoes planted last year, at least part of it. So, yeah, I'm just going to leave them there. Won't hurt anything. I'll just dig them up. Probably the first I dig up when I get a little hungry for potatoes. But yeah, this whole area here is going to be just for vining crops, and we'll see how that works out. And hopefully it's a modge-podge of different crops. So we'll see what we get out of it. There's another cat instead of Willow. That's Theo, and Theo's out with me today, and Theo's a sweet cat. So that's the cat of the day, Mr. Theo. Well, there's all the plants. You see there's some dead pots there, which is dirt in them, but there's all the plants that I grew from seed that are still alive, and some of them are just barely alive. So I got a little bit of cabbage there, and I've got some cucumbers that are pretty sickly, and again, some of the vining crops. We'll put them out there and see if we can get them to grow. So yeah, but the other crops are doing well in the garden, and the garden's looking semi-organized. So yeah, today's day is to get rid of or get planted all of the stuff that I have inside the house because I hate taking care of plants under grow lights. Seems like I'm in overwater or I'm gone for a few days and I come back and they're crispy critters. So yeah, it's a relief to get these plants at least out of the house, hardened off for a couple days, and get them into the ground. I do have a couple really sad looking, I think they're kale. I don't know what they are, but we're gonna plant them and see if they live. And then over here's where I kind of just spaced everything out to kind of show you what I'm doing, and I'll just again let all this stuff run together. And I had originally thought I was going to put my cucumbers and crookneck squash in a different area, but I kind of just forgot and stuck them all in the same place. So I think they're more down here at the bottom. So we'll see how that all works out. But yeah, I'm sure I'll have plenty of that anyway. You can't give away zucchini. Well, I'm out of compost, so I did have to buy. I bought I think it was 4 to 6 bags of this organic raised garden bed soil, and I only used a couple today to plant these plants. So yeah, I moved the wood chips aside because you don't want to mix that carbon into the soil because it'll bind up your nitrogen. And then I just took a couple scoops and loosened up the soil and chopped it up a little bit. And then I'm just going to take a couple handfuls of this bag compost. It says it's organic, so we'll see what that means. I don't know how they have organic when it's Miracle-Gro, but yeah, just take them out of the pots, and the root structure's okay. I was pretty pleased with these plants, so I think they're going to survive as long as I keep them watered. But I'm not sure about the cucumbers; they're a little bit on the iffy side, but. Yeah, not a hard process. Planting is not, it's funny how planting is not my favorite thing to do in the garden. I'd rather pull weeds than plant stuff outside because it seems like it's such a pain. But it is what it is. And it kind of varies the chores. So yeah, it's funny. Picking and weeding are more my favorite things than actually planting the crop. But yeah, so again, got to move those wood chips. So I just get down to soil. And this bed was just made out of the soil from the big pile of dirt. And nothing else other than some wood chips. And so, yeah, I did grow some really nice potatoes, but I think the fertility is probably lacking a little bit here. So I'll add these a few handfuls of this bag soil just to give them a little bit of a head start. And over time, I'll just keep making compost and just layering it on top of the soil and make these beds look a lot better and produce a lot better, hopefully, over the years. But, gardening's a process. It's it's not the destination, it's the journey that matters. So I'm on the journey, and we're doing pretty good, I think, so far. did find some nice worm life, and that was something that was totally lacking in this garden because it had not been watered or any organic matter placed on it for years. So yeah, it's nice to find some big old night crawlers. But here we go. You see the volunteer potatoes, but I got those are how many of the different vining crops I have. I'm going to get them all watered in really well, and so they get established because I'm going to be out of town for a few days, and the temperature's supposed to be cooler, so that'll be good news for these plants as they've only been out hardening off for a couple days. There's my cucumbers and a few of the cabbages. The smallest of the cabbages, I went ahead and tried to plant them, or I did plant them, and just see if they grow. So it won't hurt if they die, they die. But got all those in, and again, they're pretty sad looking. So we'll see if I have to go buy a cucumber or not. If they live for a week, they'll survive, but we'll see. But again, I got my brassicas and my cauliflower and cabbage looking good, and my onions are doing good, potatoes, and the garlic is doing really good. So another month, the garlic will be ready to pull. And then I'll see if I have anything else to put in that garden bed, or just add, when I get some compost screen, add it to it and cover it up. So suppress weeds with maybe some plastic and wait for next spring. There's some volunteer garlic I still have to eat, or green garlic. So I'll be taking care of that in the near future, eating those up probably in the next month. And then this weedy patch here, I've got to get this weeded, and I got to bring in, screen some more dirt from the big pile of dirt because it's uneven. It's got a little bit of a slope here. And then I'll add some more of those bags of compost or Miracle-Gro on here, and I'll plant some of the next crops I've got to plant because I'm not done. I still have some seed crops to plant. But here's the asparagus. I just want to give you a look but they weren't all dead. Some crowns were viable. So yeah, we have some asparagus, and hopefully I'll find some more to fill in some places where the crowns were not healthy. So, and there's a look at the bed, all planted. And again, I think the zucchini and the crookneck are down at this end. We'll see how that goes, I think. But yeah, looking pretty good, and those should fill in and just make a big old mass. And I'm sure I'll find some surprises in the roses at the end of the summer. And in the side yard, where I planted the tomatoes, I'm just watering all that area in. And the peas are where the sprinkler is right now. And I did weed the area with the carrots and the beets and radishes, and I did get some of those. I'll save that for another video, though. But there's a look at what we've got accomplished so far. And again, that next little section, I'm going to be pulling those weeds and then leveling that area out. I still have corn, and I have green beans, and I have hard beans to plant at a minimum. And then I'll probably grab some more onions and reseed carrots and beets and miscellaneous things. So we'll see what else I get in the garden. But it's been fun so far, and the weather was again cooler, so it was a nice time to be outside and enjoy this place. That's why I bought it for is to spend my time. Well, thanks for watching this video. If you like what you see, please hit that subscribe button. Thank you.